I think that there is so much value in an everyday no-brainer scent. Something that you could spray on no matter what time of year it is, no matter what you're going to go do. Having fragrances like that to fall back on is super valuable to me. And it could also be something as simple as you're heading out the door, you're already running late, and you know you need to select your scent of the day. You know, sometimes there could be some thought that needs to go into that. You know, you might have something that isn't standing out to you, and so you're sitting there looking at your collection and going, what do I wear? What's the temperature going to be like? What is it that I'm going to go do? What's going to work well? That can take up some time, right? It can be easy to be indecisive, especially when you have a lot to choose from. Having a scent on standby that you can just grab and go for any situation really makes things a lot easier. And also when it comes to getting the most bang for your buck, the most value for your dollar, having a fragrance that you can actually get a lot of use out of, to me, why not? So today we're going to be going over 10 anywhere, anytime, all season fragrances that are just simply built and designed to work. These are going to work for you. You're not going to be working for these, always having to figure out when you're going to wear them and putting a bunch of time into them. So I'm going to link all these down below to discounters if you're looking to pick any of these up. Discounters would be the only way to go. That way you can actually get some good savings and put that money into other stuff. Rabanne Invictus Parfum. Okay, this has been pretty popular here on my channel recently just because I really like it, you know, and I haven't felt this way about an Invictus fragrance in quite a while. Actually, the last time I've really been this excited about an Invictus was well, this one, Victory Elixir, and then also before that, probably honestly would have been Invictus Acqua 2016, 2018, right? Going back several years ago, Legend and Platinum and all the others that they've kind of had sprinkled in between there haven't really been all that exciting for me. And there's something about this new Parfum release that's great. I think the best Invictus fragrances right now is Invictus Parfum and Victory Elixir. Victory Elixir is going to be a little bit more sweet, a little bit more situational specific. You might find that that one's going to be better for wintertime. This one, even though it's a parfum, it's actually surprisingly soapy and fresh and clean. It features notes of soap, lavender, quite a bit of musk, quite a bit of cashmere as well. So on paper, you know, it's very fresh in terms of notes, it smells that way. But in terms of the name and even just kind of the bottle, it's kind of angular, has gold accenting. I was expecting something much sweeter than this, and I was pleasantly surprised when it was just a soapy clean, everyday type of scent, which again, I already explained in the beginning of the video why I think that is so valuable. And I think a lot of guys will resonate with this one in the fact that you can really get a lot of use out of it. Take another scent that is a lot more expensive, that might be a little bit harder to pull off in a wider variety of situations. You might not feel like you're getting your money's worth out of it. But this one, you're paying for it up front. You know, it's still relatively new, and so on discounters, you're still looking at around $100. But at least you can actually wear this one pretty much as you want. Let's go for a cheapie up next. We have Missoni Wave. So you're looking at around $35 to $40 for this one. Kind of right in line with Versace Pour Homme in terms of pricing, and it's kind of right in line with that one in terms of smell also. I've described this one as a mix between Versace Pour Homme and Chanel Allure Homme Sport. Why is it a mixture of both? Because, you know, Versace Pour Homme, doesn't it kind of smell like Chanel Allure Homme Sport? It does. The main difference is going to be that the Versace is brighter and fresher, a lot more citrus, more of a musky approach. The Chanel has a little bit more of a creaminess from a pretty good focus on tonka bean and orange. So those two are different, right? They're separate from each other. This one, it sits right in the middle. It utilizes some of that brightness. It incorporates some of that creamy sweetness from the Chanel all into one for the price of one, right? If you were to purchase Versace Pour Homme and Chanel Allure Homme Sport and layer them together, you know, you're looking at $150 or so. And this one is $40, and you get the best of both worlds, and I love it for that reason. It's really bright and fresh with some of that creaminess, like I said. Probably a summer scent is kind of what I would think of when I smell this one, and I would say that, yeah, definitely a summer scent. But there is nobody saying that you can't wear this in wintertime. The only issue that you're going to run into with some of these is that the performance might not hold up in very extreme temperatures in terms of cold temperatures. So something that you're going to have to work around here. But other than that, as far as a versatile all year round scent, Missoni Wave is definitely one of them. It's kind of one of those no-brainers. If you're heading out the door real quick, just grab this one and spray it on, and you just know that you're set for anything. Next up, we have Dior Sauvage. This is the parfum version. I don't know if you can see it. Parfum right there. Now, to me, this is the most refined version of Sauvage while still smelling like Sauvage. That's very important, right? People are already going to the comments and saying, what about Sauvage Elixir? Sauvage Elixir doesn't smell like Sauvage, right? It just doesn't. There's nothing about that is similar to Sauvage other than the name and the bottle, okay? That one is basically all warm spices and sandalwood, and that's it. No pepper, no bergamot, no ambroxan, none of that. Sauvage Eau de Toilette has all of that. Sauvage Eau de Parfum has all of that. Sauvage Parfum strips away some of the pepper, brings in a little bit of olibanum. You still get a lot of the ambroxan though, and some of that lavender freshness as well. It is, again, to say it, the most refined version of Sauvage while still incorporating that Sauvage smell. So it's something where when you put this one up against Sauvage, you can tell that they're related somehow. Sauvage Elixir, there's just no correlation really. And I think that this provides a lot of value because a lot of people are just tired of the original Sauvage. Or maybe you really like how it smells, but you're not necessarily wanting to wear it for fear that you're going to smell like every other guy. It's a valid point depending on where you live, right? Around here where I live, I don't have to worry about that. But a lot of people in higher populated areas, and especially near larger cities, that's very much a thing. And it's not just Sauvage either. But the Parfum, to me, provides enough of a variant to where that does lessen that issue a little bit. Now, the Parfum is going to be more expensive than the previous two, the Eau de Parfum and the Eau de Toilette. But with that increase in cost does come a more refined, more sophisticated blend. The quality is still top-notch. Performance is great too. This is just something that works for anything. Acqua di Gio Profondo. This is the new 2024 release, the Eau de Parfum. So yes, there is a difference, and I wasn't really expecting it, but there is. So before it was Acqua di Gio Profondo 2020 in the all blue bottle. This one has a gradient, so you can see it goes from kind of frosted and textured up here to no frosting and essentially no texture. I love the look of this bottle. I think the bottle, it looks a lot better than the old version. And surprisingly enough, I actually think I do like this version better. The opening is what does it for me. That's where the main difference lies. Is it still a little bit of a twist in the dry down? A little bit. But the opening, it's brighter, it's even more punchy, it's even more vibrant. It just has more of an impact to it, and I love it. It's still Profondo, but a nice welcomed twist, and for some, an improvement. Now, I do want to make this clear though. If you have, a 125 ml bottle of the old Profondo, you don't need to rush out and buy this one, okay? I don't want it to feel like, oh, now I need to get the newest version because it smells better. It doesn't really make much of a difference to the point where it's worth making that jump if you already have a full bottle of the old one. Again, I'm in a unique situation where I'm buying this stuff whether I have the old version or not. Even if I got 3 full bottles, which I do, of the old version, I'm still buying the new one, right? Just so I can share the information with you guys. So for you guys at home, if you already have Profondo, this isn't one that's necessary right now. This is just what you're really going to be able to get going forward as the old version starts to clear out in terms of inventory and discounters start picking this one up. But I digress. This DNA, while it is summer oriented, I would say that yes, Acqua di Gio Profondo is a summer fragrance, right? And it's one of my favorites. You can still wear this anytime, okay? You pick it up and you wear it in summer and you love it. If you're still loving it in December or January and you're not done with it yet, just keep on wearing it. It's still going to work. This one does have better performance than something like Missoni Wave, so it would hold up better in those cooler months. And actually, The Profondo DNA, it smells really good in the wintertime. The kind of bright freshness that this one has, it's really nice and crisp and icy in the winter, temperatures, that cool air. It works really well, actually. So yeah, this is another all year round, any situation type of scent. It's an Armani, so pricing is upper level there, a little over $100. So more of an investment, but when you can wear it 12 months out of the year, you can really get your money's worth. Coach Green. Now, I've told the story on this one, so I'm not going to go into detail other than I bought it and it sat in a box for like weeks, and then I finally opened it, and I wish I would have opened it sooner. That's the long and the short of it. Basically, I bought it, but I was thinking this probably isn't going to be that good, and so I just didn't prioritize actually opening it up. And like a lot of the time, I was wrong, right? I can admit when I'm wrong, and I was, because I tried this one for the first time and I was like, wait a minute, no, Coach Green, this is actually way better than I thought it was going to be. I guess because I had Coach Blue in my mind, which was a little bit more of a boring release. I don't mind the original Coach, and in fact, I love Coach Platinum. I just wasn't expecting a whole lot out of this one. It's got kiwi, bergamot, rosemary, some nice cedar wood in here. Pretty aromatic, green, and a nice kiwi fruitiness. Not really much of a sweetness out of this one like you might expect from a kiwi note sometimes. Mostly just fresh and green and clean, a little bit soapy. Bottle looks amazing. I love the dark green to light green to no pigment at all gradient. It looks great. I love gradients on bottles, if you couldn't tell. I think they just make it stand out. Typical Coach bottle. A little hidden feature is you can turn the atomizer button sideways. Acts as a lock. That way it can't be depressed on accident if you were traveling with it or something. I like it. It's one that you can already get for under 50 bucks on discounters. It's worth it. Under 50 retail, not so much. I wouldn't do that. And I paid discounter price for mine. It was from FragranceNet when I bought it, but it was still on the higher end of things. It's come down a lot since then. And so, already getting into the typical Coach fragrance price, borderline cheapy, getting close to there. And for what it's worth at this price, it is something kind of unique. We're going to go from one green scent to another. I think green fragrances, while they might be indicative of a spring style scent, could also work all year round. They just do. But this one is Lacoste Match Point, my defective bottle, right? See it? You notice anything? Sticker's off center, right? Should be in the middle. It's kind of favoring the bottom right, this corner. So it should be moved over and up a little bit. I should get a refund. It's been like that since I've had it for a couple years. I could probably peel it off and redo it. Once you notice it, you can't unsee it. But hey, I paid 30 bucks for this. That's kind of what they go for at discounters. If I paid full retail for this, I probably wouldn't care, but people would care. And so that would probably be an issue. But it goes to show why these do work their way down to cheapy price in the long run. Quality control on these Lacoste fragrances, maybe it's not the best. Maybe they're not a premium designer brand. It's got citrus, patchouli, and vetiver. Pretty simplistic in terms of notes, but it actually is a bit more complex. It goes a little bit deeper than that. I do find it to be very green, very musky, and they're based off of being on a tennis court. I kind of get more the feeling of being on a golf course. I don't golf, and I really haven't been on a golf course, but when I smell this, I think about being somewhere where I'm just surrounded by greenery and the great outdoors. That's kind of what this one gives off in a nutshell. It's something that you could wear all the time for any situation at an affordable price. Valentino Uomo, Born in Roma Intense. Got vanilla, lavender, and vetiver. So we're seeing something a little bit different here, right? The introduction of a sweet note for the first time in this video, really, as far as a key player. The vanilla is not too strong. It's not an overly sweet scent. There is still a lot of fresh balance and woods, as you could see there too. And that's what makes this one what it is. So this one might favor the cooler days of the year. So anytime in fall, spring, early winter, unseasonably warm winter days, or cooler, cloudier summer days, summer evenings, whatever. I'm basically going to be avoiding 90-degree plus heat index summer days for this one. But I would say anything other than that type of scenario, thumbs up, you could wear it. So I do think that there's a lot of versatility out of this one. A little bit fresh, a little bit sweet, a little bit woody, a little bit aromatic even from that lavender note. Not too overly strong there on the aromatics, but enough to provide some balance overall. And that's how I would describe this one. It's a balanced scent. It's not really categorized in any one way. It just does a little bit of everything. These are a little bit more expensive. Even on discounters, this one hasn't come down a whole lot. Not that the Valentino Uomos usually do. They're a bit more of a premium priced product, but to me, it's well worth it. This is definitely worth trying. Guerlain L'Homme Ideal. That's it. It's the eau de toilette. Usually I'm talking about the parfum, the extreme, the eau de parfum, the l'intense, platine privé, basically all of them, right? Except for usually the eau de toilette here. It's not getting mentioned all that much. And that's not just for me. I would say most people fail to really bring this one up, and it's not personal. It's just when you have all those other options that are that good, sometimes it's easy to forget about where it all started. This bottle looks a little bit weird because it's a 150. You don't usually see these too often. I don't think they offer the parfum, the extreme, the eau de parfum, platine privé. I don't think those are offered in 150s. I think this is the only one that is. Almond, tonka, leather, citruses. So again, it's where it all started. The almond note was born here for this line, this iconic line from the technically niche brand of Guerlain, but you're talking $50 to $60 for this niche fragrance, 100 ml wise. I think this 150 might be a little bit more than that, but this is one of the most affordable in the line. And again, it's the one that is least talked about, but I love it. I love the original. Why don't I wear it more? It beats me because that smells amazing. The leather is a really nice touch that gives it a bit of a kind of an earthy texture, right? Then you've got some of that nice creamy sweet almond, some citrus off the opening to brighten things up a little bit. It is a phenomenal blend that, again, just like the Valentino, does a little bit of everything. Spring, cooler summer days, fall, winter, whatever, summer evenings, you're gonna be covered. If you just wanna smell classy and refined, the original L'Homme Ideal is the way to go. Calvin Klein Defy, which is another one that you don't hear about a whole lot. Calvin Klein typically isn't at the top of the totem pole as far as designer brands. They're typically more of a budget-friendly brand, which isn't a bad thing, and they do have their place, but that does kind of get them out of the spotlight a little bit. There's a little bit of buzz around a lot of the new Calvin Kleins when they're first released, but then they just typically go silent pretty quickly. This is a nice vetiver scent. Soapy clean vetiver and orange, essentially. And there's not a whole lot more to it than that. I mean, the vetiver here is awesome, though. It's a really nice kind of soapy, slightly textured, spicy vetiver with a lot of fruits and citruses to go along with it. I think it smells great. While it might not be the most exciting thing out there, when you can get it for a low price, it's something worth grabbing, especially if you just want an everyday, toss on and go, beater type of scent. I mean, this is the type of one that's affordable enough. You can just throw it in your car, throw it in your book bag. Yeah, it's not good for it, right? The temperature changes, all that. We all know that. But at this price point, it'll probably save you enough times, forgetting to put on a scent before you go or running late or something or refreshing throughout the day to where it'll pay for itself. I did that with a bottle of Dylan Blue. Gosh, what was this? Probably when I first bought my truck, which was 4 years ago. I still have that same bottle in my truck that usually sits outside. It's still fine. Actually, I wore it the other day. It is still in pristine shape. I should have brought that bottle in. You probably can't tell a difference, but I'm serious. I mean, it's something worth investing in. Just a scent like that you can just toss somewhere and then forget it. Terre d'Hermès, just the eau de toilette. A little bit of cobwebs on this one. Got vetiver and orange. I mean, that's really it. That's all you need to know. Vetiver, we're not even in focus. Vetiver and orange. Now this one, unlike the Calvin Klein, this is very earthy, very kind of slightly smoky. The orange, while it is fruity, it still is not like a sweet fruity scent. It is a very masculine, dry, woody, and earthy scent. Not for everybody. But this could easily be an everyday wear signature scent, especially for a guy who just wants to smell well put together and a bit above the rest. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Some fantastic fragrances that can be worn all year round, every day, for any situation. Links will be down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.